Guys, it is already almost Christmas, which means the holiday season is already almost over. But we do have one more pretty big release coming out the day after Christmas, and that is the brand new Hollow DeathScyther random booster. Now, I already made a video going over all the pictures for the random booster, but Takara Tomy pretty much just released a video talking about the Hollow DeathScyther parts in detail, so let's just get right into it. Now, before we get into it, guys, hit that like button. We're trying to hit 800 likes. Hit subscribe to join the Nook Nation. And also, if you're going to want to pre-order this random booster, I recommend Wall of Toys. And I actually have a link in the description down below that'll help me out. And if you use code 1ilinnuc, you can get 10% off of your first order. They have the full sets for pre-order, and they have just individual random boosters. But now let's talk about Hollow DeathScyther. Now, at the beginning of the video, they do a shot of all of the random booster bays in this set and kind of go over their parts, but I'm not really going to go over all of them individually, but there will be a parts list here in the video at some point. And thank you to Darkbolt on my Nook Nation Discord server for posting the entire parts list. And if you're not joined in my Discord, you should join my Discord. Link in the description down below. So the first part that we're going to take a deeper look at is going to be the driver, which is High Accel Dash. And this one is pretty interesting because we've had Accel, obviously, we've had Accel Dash, but now we're getting this high element to it, and I don't really know what it'll do. Pretty much all they did is they got normal Accel, kind of cut it in half and added this kind of black height extension to it. And really, I'm not really sure what effect this will have on the performance of the bay, but it is kind of like a new part to kind of mess around with. And they also might be doing this because the frame, which is axe, and I'll talk about that a bit later, might be a little bit taller than what we're used to. Now, guys, we have the disc and frame. Now, the disc really is nothing special at all. I mean, we have 12, which you guys probably already know. 12 is one of the lightest discs out there, and at one point, it was like damaging bays, and when it first came out, whenever this disc first came out, it was definitely kind of controversial, but the main point that I want to look at is the frame, and we actually have a brand new frame. This one is called Axe. Now, Axe is pretty chunky for a frame, and it gets its name kind of from like these flat edges it has. And I mean, just compared to the Vortex frame that we got with God Valkyrie years ago, you can see that it's definitely pretty chunky. It's pretty wide. It's definitely kind of like an evolution to frames in general. Now, the next part of the video actually looks a little bit confusing because it shows off Axe, and it does look to be pretty tall, but they combine it with the High Accel driver, and it looks like Accel needs to have that extra bit of height, or else there's going to be kind of scraping issues. So it looks like maybe that's the reasoning why they made Accel taller. I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, moving on to the next part, we have 4A. This is a brand new chassis, and it is a single chassis, which means you can put whatever disc you want into this combination. It's not like 1A where it's fused together. And really, I don't really think it's going to be like that crazy good or anything, but I do like that we're getting more single chassis. Right now, I think we only have like 2. I think we have 1S and 1D, I think. But other than that, every other chassis we've seen from Beyblade Burst Sparking has been a double chassis. So this is something that's actually kind of unique. Also, I think that the single chassis actually have better teeth as well. I think the teeth for 1S and 1D are really good, actually. So I'm kind of hoping the teeth on 4A is really good as well. Now we have the sparking core and sparking chip. Now, I did see some people saying that there was going to be metal on the sparking chip, but really, I can't really see it at all. I mean, maybe it's just because of the way it's painted, but it doesn't look like there's any metal on it. It kind of just looks like this like bluish, this like night blue plastic to me. But if I'm wrong here, let me know in the comments, but it just doesn't look like metal. We also get a really cool Reaper design on the chip, and the sparking core is like this really dark blue, almost black, along with gray. So I like the color scheme of it, but I don't see any metal. But let me know what you guys see in the comments. And now we can move on to the actual ring, which is definitely kind of the most exciting part of the entire bay. Now, they do spend a lot of time going over how one side of Deathscyther is smooth and the other side has edges. They spend quite a long time on this, which was kind of odd. But the more important thing to know is that on the smooth side of Deathscyther, which is kind of like the bigger contact area, there is no metal and it's just kind of like a normal ring. But on the other side, the more edgy part, you could say, that is where you see this like metal plate for added weight. That rhymed. Really, having this metal is going to make it a little bit more unbalanced, kind of, but really I don't think it's going to do that much. I don't think the metal is going to have that big of an effect on its imbalance and on like smash attacks or whatever, but it is cool to see. And I'm kind of excited to see what the stamina for this attack type is going to be like, considering you have that really smooth edge. Now, they also show off kind of like this sort of mode thing that you can mess around with. Now, if you remember the chassis, how on one side you had more metal than the other, they pretty much show that you can kind of flip that chassis around and you can have more metal on the layer side that has more metal, and you can kind of do whatever. But that's not really a mode. You can kind of do that with anything, but I did want to mention it. But now we have the full bay put together, and we actually have the side view for the bay, and really it just kind of looks thin. It kind of looks like a Beyblade from like 2 seasons ago. I mean, you have the really thick axe frame, but the single chassis here along with a 12 disc really is just going to make this bay kind of light, and I don't really know if it's going to be able to do that much damage and go up against a bay like Rage Longinus. Rage Longinus weighs a ton and it hits really hard because of that weight. This bay has Accel and a single chassis. I don't know. Really, I don't think that this stock combo is going to do that well up against other sparking bays, but I really do like the Deathscyther ring, the hollow ring. That I think has potential. And that, guys, is pretty much going to wrap up the news on Hollow Deathscyther. And really, there's not that much more to talk about for it until it releases here in about a week. But like I said earlier, if you do want to pre-order the random booster or even just the full set, link in the description down below to Mall of Toys. And also, like I said, use code 1ilinnuc for 10% off of your first purchase. And one more thing that is actually kind of cool is that even if you don't get the Hollow Deathscyther kind of prize bay, in other random boosters, Takara Tomy kind of puts in parts from the bay, so you can actually kind of build your own Hollow Deathscyther. That'd probably be more expensive to do and it'd be harder to do, but the option's there. But that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. If you liked it, hit that like button down below. Once again, we are trying to hit 800 likes. Hit subscribe to join the Nook Nation, and go and drop me a follow on twitch.tv/ilinnuc. We're getting close to 1,100 followers over there, which is actually really cool. But I will see you guys in the next one. Have fun and bay away.